Okay, so let's now go down to questions 13 and 14. Let me scroll on down here. All right, so we have these lovely radicals, and these are tough for everybody. So let's take a look. Now, the first thing you have to do when you have a radical equation is get the radical portion, this portion right here, by itself. Now, we can leave a number in front of it, and it's easier actually to leave a number that's in front of it. But any numbers out to the side have to be moved to the other side of the equation. So I'm going to move, and actually, I might be able to answer your question here real quick. Let me rather than going through the whole thing, let me exit out of this for a second and double check, and let's see if the problem you're having is no, it is. So let's go through the whole thing. All right, so we're going to move this 7 to the other side. So that will be 4 square root of x plus 4 equals x, and the 7 will become positive as it goes across x plus 7. All right, now we can raise both sides now to the second power to help us get rid of this radical. So we're going to raise both sides to the second power. So we'll square this side. Oops, sorry, that's my little writing tool here that did that. That is not supposed to be there. Now, on the left side, the 4 is not underneath the square root. So when we square it, it's going to become 16. But when we square, and I apologize for my dog in the background, when we square the square root, it's just going to come out. These two are going to undo one another, and we're just going to get x plus 4. Now, usually where people make their mistake is multiplying this out on the right side. So when you multiply x plus 7 squared, write it out as what it means. It means x plus 7 times x plus 7. It is not x squared plus 49. You miss your middle terms if you do that. So I'm going to multiply everything out now. This will be 16x, and then the 16 times 4 is 64. And over here, x times x is x squared. And x times 7 is 7x. And then 7 times x is 7x. And then 7 times 7 is 49. Now that we've done that, let's notice it's quadratic. We have an x squared. So we need to get everything over to one side and see if it factors. And it should factor. If it doesn't factor, that's kind of your clue that you've made a mistake. All right, so I'm going to move the 16x and the 64 over to the right. But for the moment, I'll leave all of this here. Let me fix that x so it looks like an x and not a plus sign. All right, now, when I move this 16x, it will become negative when it goes across the equal sign. And when I move the 64, it will become negative. So now, let's add like terms and see what we can do to factor this thing. So I've only got the 1x squared, but I have a 7x and a 7x, that's 14x, minus the 16x, that's negative 2x. And then I have a 49 and a negative 64, which is going to be negative 15. And that does factor, and so it should. So only thing that's going to give us x squared is x and x. And then we need factors of negative 15 that add to a negative 2. And that's going to be negative 5 times 3, that multiplies to negative 15 and also adds to negative 2. So let's put in negative 5 in and a positive 3 in. And then let's set both of those to 0. Again, I apologize, she's so noisy. And when we solve them, move the 5 across, we get a 5. And move the 3 across, and we get a negative 3. Now, clearly the 5 worked because you got partial credit for that 5. But the -3 was the other solution that you needed. Now, it's very important that you check these, however, because when we do radical equations, they give us extra solutions. So you do need to make sure the -3 actually works by putting it back in here. And I know that's really sloppy looking. -7 equals -3. And that's going to give me 4 times, and this will end up being 1. So it'll be 4 minus 7 equals, and that should be -3. I'm sorry, that's my bad writing. -3 is true. So both of these solutions are working solutions. No, we should check the 5 also, but since you got the 5 correct here, we already know that that does in fact work. I'm going to do this one as a separate video just because this is a double radical and it's a long one. So I'll let this one render while I'm making that one.